very much. And welcome on this very cold and blustery evening. Thank you for getting out of your houses and coming out to a concert. We can always play for ourselves, but it's much more fun to play for other people. So thank you for braving the elements. This is the PEI String Collective, and if you're wondering why the violins are all getting up and wandering around, they're going to do this after every single number. This is something that I do in this orchestra because I like everybody to get the chance to play the melody part, the fun part, and then sometimes the second violin parts aren't quite so fun, so we like to rotate people around. Some people, they're very comfortable in their second violin parts and they like staying there, but we rotate people around a lot. So that first number was called Chaconne by Henry Purcell from his opera called King Arthur. And I won't give you the plot of it. I remember it being very esoteric and slightly bizarre. I was lucky enough to play a 2-week run of King Arthur in the 1990s in Norfolk, in England, in a very tiny church that had bats flying around in it. But it was really fun. And I remember that piece so well, and I was like, we need some English music this year, we should play that. So that's where we got to start off our evening of English string orchestra music. And our next one is a suite by John Rutter. And if you have ever listened to King's College Choir from England in Cambridge, he was very much associated with them, wrote a lot of Christmas carols, a lot of carol arrangements. So he's still living, I think he's in his 90s, still writing amazing music. I believe he wrote something special for the wedding of Prince William and Princess Kate, and does lots of amazing things. And anyway, this suite is a lot of fun. It's based on 4 English folk songs, if I remember correctly. The first one is very lively, the second one is just very sweet, and the third one is lovely and lush and beautiful, and then the fourth one again is lively and energetic. So here's the John Rutter Suite for strings. So now we're going to play something that's Christmassy, because, you know, we really shouldn't we, at this time of year? And when I was being so bright, thinking about what we should do for Christmas, and thinking of something English that was Christmas, my brain went to Greensleeves, not realizing that Greensleeves makes a very subtle and surprise appearance in another piece later on in the program. So you're going to get Greensleeves double bill tonight. So hopefully you like it. This is a beautiful version of Greensleeves that was written by Vaughan Williams, originally for 2 flutes, harp, and strings. As you can tell, we have no flutes and we have no harp. So I rearranged it and gave the flute parts to Evelyn and to Zoe here, and the harp is in the cello section. So this is our version of Fantasia on Greensleeves. Strings is by a guy who is officially known as Peter Warlock, and I was supposed to do some research to remember what his real name is. That is not his real name. You'll have to go and Google him. He was a guy, and I don't remember his real name, I should look that up, but a guy who was fascinated by witchcraft and wizardry, and so he named himself on all of his aliases as Peter Warlock. And he took 6 tunes, they're medieval and Renaissance tunes, if I remember correctly, and he re-harmonized them. So you might be listening to this going, this sounds awfully old and kind of cool, and then all of a sudden he'll throw something at you and you're like, whoa, that was unexpected. So we go from slow kind of pavans to fast, there's one called a tourbillon, and your number 4, if you look on your program, I believe the correct pronunciation, though this could be an urban myth, is brawls. So we're going to be doing some brawling here, if that's okay with you, quietly, of course. And then the last one, the sword dance, is very well known. If you're ever a string player in town, you probably would have played this in a slightly different arrangement. So here's the Capriol Suite by Peter Warlock. Holst. If you came through the Singing Strings program, most likely you played this at some point. I remember, I think the last time I played this was in the State Opera House in Vienna with a group of singing strings that I took there in 2015. It's a great piece. It's so much fun to play. It's got some difficult parts, but most of it's just fun to play. The first movement, we're trying to take it as a North Rustico Saturday afternoon Cayley kind of feeling. It's a jig. So that's what we do at Cayley's, is we have lots of jigs. So we're trying to be very rustic. The second movement is called an ostinato. And what an ostinato is it's a repeating pattern. It's an Italian musical word for a repeating pattern. And what I want you to do with that movement is to watch the second violin section over here, because they are the lucky people who get to play the repeating pattern over and over and over and over again. Except for one little bit, which they will enjoy immensely. The third movement is called intermezzo, which is a rather unusual movement. It's very beautiful and singing and lyrical, but also has some interesting kind of flavors to it. And then the last movement is one, I think I told everybody here, that whenever I hear this piece, I think of John Clement. And he just loved this piece and this movement, and he just was always so jolly and kind of bouncing around and playing when we played it. And it has a special surprise in the middle of it, so listen out for that. So this is the St. Paul Suite by Gustav Holst. But that's it, that's all. Thank you so much for, as I said before, braving this blustery evening. This is a lovely group of people to work with. We rehearse every Monday night. If you're a string player that needs a place to play, we always accept warm bodies. Unless you play the cello, because we generally have way too many cellos, but I'm joking. Anyway, thank you so much for coming tonight and for supporting this group. Have a lovely holiday. We will do another concert in April which will be music of Italy. So, yeah, so hopefully see you then. Thank you so much.